say, well, that's a strange scripture. Well, let's look at the background of that scripture a little bit more. Amos, a shepherd, just a common, ordinary man. He was a shepherd. And God chose him to go and to warn Israel of where they were in God's sight. And to represent that, God sent a lion to Amos in a vision to say, that is a lion that is roaring here. And as he was roaring, he wanted the people of Israel to know that he was their shepherd, even in the midst of the lion that was roaring here. And so the Lord established his earthly throne in Jerusalem. We know that. In Jerusalem among his special people, his chosen people there. And it was from Jerusalem and that he announced his judgment on the Israelites here. His judgments from the lowest to the driest, from the highest point to the greenest point in Israel, which was both Judah and Israel, the northern and the southern kingdom here. He told them he was going to send his judgment to them. And he was going to send his judgment to them because they had disobeyed him. They had disobeyed him through adultery. And they had disobeyed him through idol worship. They had disobeyed him in many, many ways. And God, through Amos, told them that his judgment was coming here. And again, as we talk about Amos, Amos was just an ordinary man. We in this room tonight are ordinary people. But you know, God chose to send an extraordinary message through an ordinary man to his people. When we look at the nation and we look at where they were, we have to understand a few things about them. Israel was politically secure. Spiritually, they were smug. You know what that word means? That means you're just comfortable. You know, I'm okay. Everything's fine. I have no problems. That's where they were. Politically, they were okay, and they were just comfortable. Does that sound like the church today?
Oh, yes.
Sometimes we're just smug, aren't we? We're smug. Israel felt sure that they were living in God's good grace. They just felt they were okay. But they were just right where they should be. They were okay. They also did not realize the reality of their situation. And this is why God was sending judgment on them. The reality was that they were morally corrupt.
Yes.
They were corrupt. They had problems on the inside. They were practicing idolatry. They also were living, because they were smug and so comfortable, they were living extravagantly. They were living a luxurious life. And while they were doing this, they were oppressing the poor. They were not taking care of the needy among them. They were self-centered, and all they thought about was themselves and my comfort and my smugness. Where I am, I'm okay. Just forget about those that are in need. Put them behind me. I'm okay. That's what they said. They also thought that they were okay because they went through all the religious rites. They went through all the festivals. They went through all the ceremonies. They went through those religious rites. They did everything that they felt that they were supposed to do. However, in the midst of doing that, they also did whatever they pleased. Two-sidedness, double-faced, hypocrisy. Call it what you want. They serve God, using our church analogy, here on the Sunday morning, paying my tithes, coming and hearing the Word of God, but not taking it inside, not obeying it, not doing what God says, hearing the Word of God, but having not the power of that Word of God. This is where they were. This is exactly where they were. And so here they were, going through everything that they thought was right. They thought they were doing A-okay. They had no standards with which to measure themselves. And when we look at our world today, you see we have so few standards in our world today. And it's getting worse and worse. There's the standards, they're on the ground right now. There are a few just about to happen. It was just about to happen. God would uproot these people from where they were because they had not been faithful to him. God also told Amos to call them for repentance. Call the people and remind them of God's faithfulness. You sang the song Faithfulness right before this. You sang about God's faithfulness. And Amos wanted to remind the people of God's faithfulness also. When we look at Israel, we have to understand that Israel has a unique place with God.
Yes,
a very unique place with God. He loves them. They are his chosen people.
Yes, they are. Amen.
But they don't have an exclusive place with God.
That's right. Amen.
They don't have an exclusive place. They're special.
Yeah.
But it's not just about Israel.
Amen.
We've been grafted in. And we also are his children. And we also are just as special to him as Israel is special to him. And so Israel here, in their way of thinking, they thought everything was okay. They really thought that everything was okay here. So we look at Amos 4:13 and we see something else about God. We have to see that he says, "For lo, he that formeth the mountains and createth the wind, and declareth unto man what is in his thoughts, that maketh the morning darkness and treadeth upon the high places of the earth. The Lord, the God of hosts, is his name." It's his name. So Amos was bringing the people back. He was helping them to see that our Lord, our God is almighty, and there is no one else like him. He was reminding them of where they were. As we look at our church today, we see such a similarity between these times. And you think that was centuries and centuries ago. But it's not so far in the distance that we can't realize and see exactly where we are today.
Right.
The church today is much like Israel during Amos' time. We also come together and we perform our religious rites.
Yes, amen.
We come because God requires it. He requires us to assemble ourselves together. He requires us to pay our tithes. God requires it. And then we walk out the doors of the church and we go our own way. And we know nothing about that Lord God Almighty.
Amen.
The God of hosts, his name is. We think nothing about him throughout the week as we go. And next Sunday morning we get up and guess what? We do it all over again. We do it all over again. God is not pleasing with those actions any more so than he was pleased with Israel and Judah during the time of Amos. That is not what he wants from us. The Lion of Judah roars with the same intent today as he roared during the time of Amos.
Amen.
And he is roaring to his church today.
Yes.
He's roaring to you. He's roaring to my church. He's roaring to the church in Beckley. All around where Christians are assembled together, our Lord, our God Almighty is roaring.
Yes.
He's saying, hear my voice tonight.
Yes.
Hear my voice. I'm
Yes.
tired of this playing church. I'm tired of you coming together and not obeying my standards. Are you setting your own standards out there? He's saying, hear me, church, because this is the word he wants you to hear tonight. This is the word of warning that he wants you to hear tonight. He is the Lord God Almighty, and let's not forget it. The Lord God Almighty, he is. So he said, well, this lion you're talking about, who is this lion? You've just been talking about the lion. Well, who is this lion? We're church people, and we come to church. We know who I'm talking about, but there may be somebody in here, maybe these young people over here don't quite know who the lion is that we're talking about. Well, I want you to know tonight that this lion that we're talking about, we can identify him if we go to Revelation chapter 3 and we look at verses 20 there. It says, "Behold, I stand at the door and I knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me." All right, let's look at verse number 21. It says, "To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me on my throne, take a dessert, or you take something with you, maybe it's just a gesture. Oh, this one, when he comes, he brings the whole banquet table with him. He comes and he sits down, and he doesn't just bring a little dessert, but he brings the whole banquet table, and he sits and he dines with you. So, girls, that's who the lion is tonight. We're talking about none other than Jesus here. Jesus. But why does he roar? Why does he roar? Why does Jesus roar? I have 3 points to cover with you tonight. He roars, first of all, to communicate his location. You remember we talked about the lion in the natural? And what did I say about his roar? How far away can it be heard? 5 miles away. The lion roars at us, and he's roaring at this church tonight. He's roaring tonight because he wants you to hear him. He wants you to know that he hasn't moved from his throne.
No, he hasn't.
And he wants to know, where are you? Are you within that 5-mile radius? Are you within hearing distance of our Lord and Savior tonight? Or are you so far removed that you can't hear the roar of God as he tries to communicate with you? Let's look at Matthew 11:28 here. This is what the lion says to us. He says, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I will give you rest. He says, take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So as the lion roars, he wants you to know he hasn't moved. He wants to communicate with you. And as he wants to communicate with you, he wants you to communicate back. Communication is 2 ways. It's not just one way. So many times we sit and say, oh God, tell me what you want me to do.
Go ahead,
Just tell me, God. I just tell me. But we never get into communication with God and say, oh God, here I am. Just send me. Send me. That's the 2-way street here with communication here. So the lion roars to let you know that his location is exactly the same. He hasn't moved, and he wants to make sure that you haven't moved from the sound of his voice. From the sound of his voice. Point number 2. Point number 2. He roars to warn his tribe in the natural. The lion roars to warn his tribe of intruders. When they come into his territory, he roars loudly. The Lion of Judah wants us to know someone is moving in to the territory of our hearts. Constantly, that threat is there. He's trying to move in. There's an intruder trying to invade our territory here. That territory has been dedicated. It's been set aside for the service of God. But we still have that intruder that keeps trying to get in. He roars with his loud, loud, loud voice that can be heard, but only if we pay attention to it. Only if we pay attention to it. If he roars and we turn a deaf ear to it, and we just say, that's just the lion's roar. I've heard that before. It means nothing to me right now. We fail to realize that he may be roaring to tell you that tomorrow an intruder is going to come and he's going to invade your life. And you're going to need him. And we need him today. He doesn't know yet. And he roars to warn us that Satan is our enemy. And that Satan is out there and he's creeping in. And as he creeps in, he only creeps in with one purpose. And that one purpose is that he wants to destroy us.
Amen.
He wants to destroy us. If we can look at us.
Yeah.
Because when we know this word, it's very difficult for someone to come up and to present a doctrine to us that is contrary to this word of God here. So there are other voices out there, and they are loud. They come out loudly, and they say, come on over here. Very seductively. They say, come on over here. Come, do this. Do this. Young people, you're going to be hearing these voices as you get older. As you enter in to your later teens, and even where you are right now, you can begin to hear some of these voices. School's not an easy place for you to be. I know that I have grandchildren, and my grandchildren tell me horrible stories about what they experience in school. It's not an easy place for you to be. So you're going to hear voices clamoring for you to come on over. Let's do this. There's no harm in it. Those are those other voices, and they are not the voice of Jesus. They are not the voice of Jesus. Amen. And you have to take a stand and say, get behind me, voices. You're not the voice of Jesus, and I am following Jesus here.
Yes. Amen.
Also, when the lion roars within his family knows his roar.
That's right, yeah.
They recognize it.
They do.
Just as my husband can be on one side of the house and I can be on the other, and he calls my name, and he doesn't have to say it very loud. If I just hear Dor instead of Dorothy, I know he's calling because I know his voice.
That's right.
I know his voice, so I can go to him. The lion here roars, and his family knows his voice.
Right.
And because they know his voice, they also know the false voices. They know when the voices are false. They know it. They know it. The other thing about the lion, he is very jealous of his family. He will fight to the death.
Yes.
To protect his territory and to protect his family.
Lord and God.
The Lion of Judah is also jealous for us, his people. He loves us, and he is jealous. And when Satan comes to deceive us, he roars. He roars. Get your ears open. Stay within the 5-mile radius.
Right.
So you hear his voice. So you hear him. He roars loudly to keep the enemy away from us, to protect us. He roars to assure us that he's still there. He hasn't moved anywhere. It's his territory, and he's still there. He also roars to tell the enemy.
There you go.
Yeah.
He tells the enemy, this is my family.
Yeah.
This is my
Amen.
territory.
Amen.
Don't come in here. And if you do come in here, you're going to be met by my strength, by my courage.
Amen.
And I will protect my own. I will protect my own. He roars because we are his family. And he roars because he loves us. John 15:13
Glory, hallelujah to the Lamb.
says, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. And of course, John 3:16, we can quote this one. Says, for God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him who?